Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I have another family favorite recipe, and it's a dessert recipe, and it's called sponge cake roll, Piskótatekercs. And so what you will need is 8 brown eggs, 8 teaspoons of sugar, a dash of salt, 8 1/4 teaspoons of flour, and a 1/4 teaspoon of flour for the 1/4 teaspoon of flour is for the cookie sheet, and 8 to 10 tablespoons of apricot jam, powdered icing sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vegetable shortening. So, and that would be for your cookie sheet, you know, because you have to grease your cookie sheet before you pour the actual batter onto the cookie sheet for the sponge cake roll. So what I've done was I began with separating the egg yolks into a large bowl and the whites into a medium-sized bowl. And so what I did was I added 8 teaspoons of sugar to the egg yolks, and I beat it with an electric hand mixer until it's frothy. So this is what it should look like. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to gently fold 8 teaspoons of flour into the egg yolks. So I'm going to begin by doing that. So what I do is I do it one teaspoon at a time. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit over the batter, so that's first teaspoon, and I'm going to fold it into the egg yolk and sugar mixture. So I'm going to fold this in gently. And I'm going to continue doing that. So this is another family favorite recipe of my mother and grandmother's. Traditionally you'd use apricot jam or peach jam. And today I'm going to be using apricot jam. And the jam should be, I'm just going to put 2. The jam should be sort of like a semi-firm consistency. So I'm going to add 2 at a time. So that's 3. I've got 3 so far. So 2 teaspoons at a time is okay to do that too. And then you just gently fold it in. It's like a batter. It's going to turn out to be like a batter. And then of course I'm going to pour this batter onto a cookie sheet, but make sure that the cookie sheet has sides to it. You don't want ones that don't have a side to it when you're pouring the batter, because you don't want it running off to the sides. So that's just a tip that I thought I'd mention. So you just kind of fold it in gently. Now, and I've used brown eggs, so I'm going to add 2 more. That's 5, so we've got a total of 5 now. And I like to use the brown eggs because the yolks are kind of a deeper color and texture. And my grandmother would use the brown eggs, farm eggs, fresh from the market. And the market would start off, I remember visiting her in the market, would start off at 5 in the morning. So I'd go with my aunt to the market, and we'd get fresh farm eggs coming in locally to the market, so we buy fresh farm eggs. And my grandmother would use them up pretty quickly. Within about 2 or 3 days she'd use them up, and then again, you know, near the weekend she'd get fresh eggs again. So we've got 5 there. 6, 7. So I've got 7 teaspoons of flour. So I'm just going to continually fold this into the egg and sugar mixture. And this bakes in the oven for about 25 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I've already preheated the oven, ready for it to be put into the oven. And I've already greased the cookie sheet and floured it. And then 1 more teaspoon for 8, to make it 8. Now just sprinkle it 1 at a time, 2 at a time. And just use a wooden spoon to fold it in there. Very simple recipe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gradually fold the egg whites into the egg yolk mixture. So what I've done, I'm just going to show you what that looks like. You're going to add, this is the egg whites. From the 8 eggs that I've used, I've separated the yolks from the yolk and white. And then I beat it until it becomes frothy in texture. So this is what it should look like. And I put a dash of salt into the egg whites before I beat it to this frothy texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, slowly fold in. So I'm just going to take a little bit at a time, and I'm going to slowly fold in the egg whites. Gently fold it in. And this is what's going to give it, this process is going to give it a spongy texture when it comes out of the oven. And then I'm going to keep doing that and fold it in gently. Then I'm going to add a little bit more egg white at a time, not all at once. And then I'm going to gently fold it in again into the egg yolk sugar mixture. Okay, and then I'm going to add some more to this, and then continue to do that and fold it in. At first it doesn't look like a whole lot, you know, with the egg yolk by itself, but then you add it in there and you've got enough batter for a medium-sized cookie sheet. And I'm making sure that it has sides to it, because it is that sort of a very kind of like it's like a batter. Okay, and then I'm going to add some more, the rest of this. And then continue to fold it in. Making sure that you got it into the batter gently. And it's got a sort of a fluffy texture to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this onto the cookie sheet that I've already, this is what the cookie sheet should look like. So what you would do is you would grease your cookie sheet, and notice that it has the sides to it, and then grease it with some vegetable shortening. So I said about a 1/4 teaspoon, it could be about a 1/2 teaspoon. And then just spread it over the cookie sheet, and then sprinkle with flour, and then tap it. You might want to do it over the sink, just a little tip, and then you just tap it so that it's evenly distributed. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this batter onto the cookie sheet. I'm just going to show you how this looks like. And then I'm going to put it in the oven once I've spread it evenly across the, I'm going to make sure I scrape the bowl here really well. You can actually see what's happening here. And then gently spread this, you know, evenly across your cookie sheet. And when you check for it to be golden brown, it should take about 25 to 30 minutes. So put the timer on your oven, and I check it sort of like after about 12 minutes and see how things are doing. And then it should be done in about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm just going to gently spread that across the cookie sheet, trying not to flatten it too much. And then it's going to bake in the oven at 350 degree Fahrenheit oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll come back and I will show you what this great recipe looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to fold it, because there's a fold it lengthwise and make it into a sponge cake roll, putting the jam on it. Okay. So I'll be back in about 30 minutes, and then I will show you how to do the rest of this recipe. Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I've taken out the sponge cake roll out of the oven, and I poured the batter onto a medium-sized cookie sheet, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like coming out of the oven. It's golden brown. And what I've been doing is, as soon as I took it out of the oven, I started to loosen up the sides of the sponge roll. And as it's cooling on the cookie sheet, I'm putting my butter knife underneath it, so I'm loosening up the edges like that. So it is coming off quite nicely, and then I'm just doing that, continuing to do that until it's totally cooled. It's kind of warmer in the middle right now, so you're wanting to loosen it up carefully. So first of all, just starting at the edges as soon as it comes out of the oven, and then as it's cooling, it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to cool down, and then you're going to be able to pull it off your cookie sheet. And then what I've got here is some parchment paper ready for it to be put on here. It's just easier to work with it on some parchment paper or wax paper. And then I'm going to be showing you how to put the jam on the slab, and then I'm going to show you how to roll the sponge cake roll. And then it'll be ready to serve. So I'll be back to show you that, and I'm just going to actually just sort of gently start putting my butter knife underneath here carefully, and then it's a bit hotter in the center, so you want to probably leave that alone until it kind of cools down to a sort of a warm temperature, and then you're going to be able to take it off your cookie sheet. Okay, welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. What I've done is I've removed the rectangular slab, the sponge cake, Piskótatekercs recipe, onto some parchment paper, and what I've done is I've got some apricot jam, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread. Now this is the bottom half of the slab, so you want to use the bottom of the slab because it looks like this from the bottom, and you want to use the top part. It looks a lot nicer. So this is the bottom, so you want to turn it over and use the one that was facing the cookie sheet, and this is the one you're going to use for the inside part of your your sponge roll, because the outside looks really nice. So I'm just going to spread some jam on there. I've got about 10 tablespoons of apricot jam that I bought. This one has kind of like low in sugar, so if you're really looking for it to cut back on sugar, this is apricot jam that I bought in the store. Of course, I have a great recipe for homemade apricot jam. It's similar to my plum jam recipe where you cook it in the oven. And I buy the apricots fresh from the market for it. So I do have a recipe for that, which I'll be showing sometime as to how to do on my website. So I'm just going to spread this evenly on there, and it's got a semi-firm consistency to it. This jam that I bought. So traditionally, this is what you would use, is the apricot jam for this recipe, but you can use your own favorite jams if you want. But this is a traditional jam that is used in jelly rolls. Just going to evenly spread that, and then I'm going to start rolling the jelly roll carefully, very loosely across. Like that, and it should look like this. So you're not going lengthwise, you're going this way, and this is what it should look like. And then of course you cut it into balls. I'm just going to cut this end part off so I can show you what the jelly roll looks like. So you want to take off that that piece that's sort of, it comes out of the oven, it's kind of like got a very hard texture to it. You can cut the ends off so it looks really nice. So that's what the jelly roll looks like. So I'm just going to cut into 1 centimeter, approximately 1 centimeter slices. And this is what your jelly roll should look like with the jam in it. So, and then what you would do is you would sprinkle powdered sugar on it. So I'm just going to put it on a plate and sprinkle some powdered sugar on it for you. And this is what it would look like if you served it. There's a bit of powdered sugar. And that is your apricot Piskótatekercs jelly roll. This is sort of not a jelly roll, but a sponge cake recipe. You could use also jelly inside of the sponge cake recipe also. So, and I've used an apricot jam today. So if you have any questions or comments regarding this recipe, you can contact me at irene@irinkaskitchen.com or irinkaskitchen.com. Until next time, bon appetit, jó étvágyat!